Welcome back to The Grind for another Act 7 Chapter 2 guide. This will be the completion guide for the easy path of Quest 2. Now, Quest 2 has a life transfer path, but it also has power shield. So in order to actually get the health back, you do have to throw off a special attack. And unfortunately, my recordings failed when I did run through this. I only have a small clip of the boss. I believe I have a clip of that still, and that is with Guardian. That's the one that I chose to use, and we'll talk a bit about the bosses later. But just to demonstrate this path, we are going to go back down the path that I took to life transfer and just do a quick fight through the first one here. And I used actually Sunspot for this time through. But I just went in with these champions, and we'll go through kind of what champions were best. But really, you just want a champion that can deal a lot of damage with their special attacks, either has a way to get to their special attacks sooner, and we're frozen up a little bit here, but also having various champions of different classes so that you can gain that class advantage just to allow you to do a little bit more damage when you are doing those specials. But really, whatever champions you're comfortable with and that can deal a lot of damage on their specials and also that can get to their specials faster will really make this path easier. And then just making sure you have counters to the champions that you're fighting. One of the annoying ones is Longshot because of his special 2. That can be annoying. So having an Incinerate immune could be handy there. And then having an evade counter or just fighting him, fighting Miles in a way that you don't have to deal with that. Some people don't like fighting this Black Panther because of the not being able to stun while he has an armor up. And then, of course, as long as you can nullify Medusa or just back off or have an auto block ability actually reduction champion, then you can do that. But really, this is a pretty straightforward path despite that. And I actually really like Dr. Doom for this path because he relies on heavy attacks or on special attacks a lot and can build up to multiple special attacks quicker because of the various ways he can steal power. So really, you just want to try to play aggressive so that you can build up power quicker, because you can see we're losing a lot of health and we don't deal any damage with our basic attacks. Thank you for that resist there. And one thing to note too is damage over time effects still deal damage. So if you have somebody that has a lot of damage over time, especially on the special attacks, then that will make things a lot better as well. So with Dr. Doom, you can go into your Doom cycle if you don't mess up like I'm doing here. And then you'll get the damage off of the special attacks, and with Doom Cycle, you build rapidly back up to more special attacks, and then you get some nice incinerates off that special too, which will have increased damage as well because of the power shield node. So again, like I said, this is a really pretty straightforward path, and because of the life transfer, you can make mistakes and still salvage it as long as you are able to build up. Wow, look at that, like one special 2 rotation and we're pretty much got this fight done. So that's really all there is to it for this path. I'm not going to go through too much of the fights. I do apologize for having the recording fail. I may have had too much stuff on my phone and then it wasn't able to save it all. But I'm going to try to make sure that I have more fights for more of the path breakdowns. Okay, so now as far as the bosses go, I did go with Guardian, and we'll talk about him last. But the reasons I didn't take Tigra is because Tigra is a very aggressive defender, and sometimes she can be a pain in the butt. And for her nodes and abilities, when the defender activates a special attack, the attacker's combo meter is consumed and is reset to 0. And for each hit on the combo meter that is consumed, the defender gains prowess charges, and that deals increases special attack damage. And I'm not sure if these charges are passive or not. If they are buffs, then you can nullify them, or with a mystic champion, you can gain a lot of power back from that. Or if you have them staggered, then maybe that would prevent her from gaining them. So that's something to consider there. While close to the defender, the attacker gets a staggered debuff every 3 seconds. So if you don't want to use a champion that relies on buffs for this fight, because you'll have tons of staggers and you won't be able to gain those buffs. And then Prey on the Weak, the defender gains 5% of their max power each time a buff is nullified. So if you are gaining lots of buffs and you have those staggers on you, you're going to be feeding tons of power into Tigra, Hydra and Tigra special attacks cover a lot of ground, so it really can get you pushed back into the corner. And then Heavy Assault, both champions' attack is increased by 500 when using a heavy attack. And then for the opponent, while charging a heavy attack, they're unstoppable. So you want to use champions that do not rely on buffs and who can rely on heavy attacks and get lots of damage out of them. So for example, Captain America Infinity War would be great there. You could also consider using Dr. Doom. He has some good damage on his heavy, especially if you go into Doom Cycle and get off a couple special 3s. So not a horrible option. I think in the beta the nodes were very similar, and that's one that I did go and fight against, and it wasn't too bad of a fight. So that's an option for you. This Magneto, I just don't really like fighting the Magnetos ever since they got the benefits against metal champions. But while the iron is hot, when the defender is struck while their back is against the wall, the attacker gains an indefinite prowess buff, increasing their special attack damage by 20 and a max stack of 10. So you can get 200% special attack damage if you push them against the wall and continue to knock them down, or sorry, just strike into them. So those prowesses are consumed when a special attack is activated, and then the defender's defensive ability or defensive power gain rate is increased by 5% for each active prowess on the attacker up to 50%. So actually this might be nice for this Magneto because I prefer his special 2. So when you do get several prowesses built up, you'll actually be able to easier push him to special 2 and not have to worry about that special 1. And then special connoisseur, the defender takes 90% reduced damage from all sources except special attacks activated while the attacker has an active prowess. So you are going to need to get those prowesses. So you have to push him against the wall, and then you will rely heavily on special attack damage for this fight. So you'll want a champion who can really deal out a lot of special attack damage, who is not a metal champion. That's going to be the kicker there. And then power buildup. When the defender reaches 2 bars of power, they gain an indefinite prowess buff each 2 seconds, or every 2 seconds, increasing their special attack. So you got to be careful not to get hit. You'll probably take some big block damage too, but also unblockable. All special attacks are unblockable, so you really got to be able to manage his special attacks there. And then the one that I felt like was the easiest one to manage, mostly because I have Magneto, but honestly I felt like I did better with Dr. Doom on this fight. He has power shield as well, so you want to do most of your damage with special, or you'll only be able to do damage with special attacks, so you want to bring champions who can deal out a lot of damage there. And then aggression armor, so every 2 seconds if you're not hitting the opponent, they'll get a little bit of armor buildup. And then do not disturb, the defender has 100% ability accuracy, increased ability accuracy. Each non-damaging debuff reduces the potency by 25%, and special damage increases based on armor, so that kind of comes in hand with the aggression armor. If you're not attacking, you will get a lot more damage, even if you're blocking his special attacks. And he has defender's attacks ignore armor, resistance, evasion, and auto block, so you can't rely on those things either. So unfortunately, most of this clip wasn't saved. I'm not sure how it only saved part of this video, but just this shows that with Dr. Doom, because of that power shield and being able to nullify the armor up buff, you can really handle Guardian very easily with Dr. Doom. So he's a great option. Magneto works well also because he is metal, but because you have the power shield, you have to rely on special attack damage, and Guardian can auto block special attacks when he has an armor up, so you ideally want to have champions that rely on special 3 or can nullify that buff. So I do hope that this video was helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Check out my other guides on the channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.